Hey everybody, thank you for joining me today. So today's video, we're again going to be working on the um, pre-made cards from Simple Stories. So I'm going to show you here the actual pictures of all the cards, and we're going to be working on the next two, okay? Now, what I like to do when I do these is as I'm going, I punch out for like the two cards for each video, right? I don't punch out everything because I'm trying to keep it kind of together. For one of my lives, I did 49 and Market, their layout collection. And on those, I did separate everything and then put it all into Ziploc baggies. So you could do it either way. But for recording the videos, I do them as I'm doing the cards. So what we're going to do is all of the cards have a base that covers the 4.5 by 4.25 by 5.5 card front for the A2 size card. And then you get different elements depending on, it could be a die cut, it could be a chipboard element. Now, this particular one is a die cut that we're going to put on top of, I want to say it was another like cutout piece. And I'm just using the paperwork right next to me as a guide for how to lay everything out, right? Because it's all right there. And you can even follow the directions because it does take you step by step for each card, how to get it all put together. Me personally, I like looking at the picture and then putting it together. I barely read. I read enough to pick out the pieces that are supposed to be there and then uh, just put it together, really and truly. All right, so on this one, we have the chipboard thanks, which I put foam, so it gives it a little bit of height. And then the U is a element. It's a like a die cut, they call it. And I just put that glued down, straight down. And then the butterflies, I put glue in the center only with the idea that maybe I could kind of lift up the wings if I wanted to, depending on who I was giving the card to. Obviously, if you're mailing it, you'll want it probably flat. But if it's something that I'm taking to somebody, I might want to fluff it up a little bit. Okay. So now that that card's done, it was really simple. It wasn't that many pieces. We're going to go on to the next one. And I do apologize because I recorded these at two different times and the lighting changed. So please forgive me. But we're going to put together the second card, which I found this one to be a lot fun. And it's not that many pieces either, but I used a lot more foam on this one. And I'm just trying to get my glue unstuck. So while that's happening, whenever you get these card kits, definitely make sure you could have glue dots, you could have foam, you could have already foam squares. You'll see I use some tiny ones that I have. You can use whatever you want it to give different elements height, which is what gives the cards a little added interest, right? You could lay everything flat and it would still be a beautiful card. But if you wanted to take it up a notch, then you do that by, adding the foam, basically. And I finally got it to come out. I don't know what happened either because I put my pen in my glue and it still wound up getting clogged a little bit. But now we won't have any more problems. And I put a different pin in it, so hopefully it won't do that clogging thing anymore. Okay. So on this one, it's a solid orange, and then you could see the flower um, over to my right. I have one of the flower elements. I'm just pointing out to you which one we're working on um, to make sure you guys can see it. And I kind of put it in front of me so I can see it um, because I didn't have the sheet next to me like I did before. All right. And for those of you who wonder, I do tend to use wet glue with my tape because I want to make sure that everything's going to adhere. And if I need more time, the wet glue gives me that time to be able to pull it up and not um like really rip the paper bad. You know what I mean? It gives you that little bit of time. So now we're adding this layer, this green layer across. And then I was getting ready to put this down and I forgot. Nope, we got to put down. It says a calendar at the top. And the directions, they're really good at describing each of the things. And at the end, you actually wind up having extra pieces left over. And I went back to double check because I was like, why do I have all these hearts and a few butterflies left over? And, it turns out that's just how these kits work, which I think is nice because, not to give it away, but in the last video, I will show you what I do with all the extra pieces that are left. All right. So we just put some foam tape on our sentiment, which is on your special day. So that's the first foam element on here. And then we're going to put down this banner. It's a chipboard banner. So I'm just putting down some wet glue. And you'll see I'm going to keep moving this and I'll just wipe up any extra glue. The best part about the art glitter glue is that it dries clear. So when stuff like that happens, I can wipe it away and it's okay. Okay, so now I'm taking, because I had some foam left over, and I'm just putting little bits of it behind the hearts. Okay. Now, this is a little bit added because these are chipboard pieces, so they have a little thickness to them. And then I'm lifting them up higher with the foam. So, and I always put a little bit of wet glue. Again, it just gives you that little bit of time to be able to move it around if you need to. And don't stress out. If you don't put it in the exact right spot, if it's not the right, distance from the end, it's okay, because at the end of the day, when you put this next to the front of the paper, it looks like the exact same thing. It's just we added some different elements that maybe they didn't do, as far as lifting it up and giving it dimension. So now I'm putting down some gems, and on this one I'm putting down the green. And then on the thank you card, I'm actually going to use the black gems that have like a little hint of blue. I like the way they looked on here, and I'm not using that many, but with the big, bold thank you looking like the typewriter keys, I think the black ones worked better. And it's so crazy. These were just on my desk. I didn't plan for these to be here when I started doing this card kit. They were just here and it was like perfect. I wound up being able to use these, I think, on all the cards. So that way they're all similar elements. So if I wanted to give them away as a gift, then it all ties in together. I like that. And I just used 3 gems on there. And there you go. So that's 1 and 2 we already did, and then these are 3 and 4. So the next 2 weeks will be the last 4 cards, okay? So thank you guys so much for joining me today. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share button, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions about these card kits, anything that you've always wondered, but maybe, you just didn't want to buy it because you were scared of it. Just ask away and I'll be glad to help you guys, okay? Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great weekend. Have a good one.